All right, that's it. Time to get it on. Jonathan, alcoholic. Good to see all my friends here, and get it closer. Great to see everybody, and great to be part of this meeting and be in a meeting at any time. But like I said, it's great to see all my friends here. Great. It's really kind of you guys to give the back table to the guys from the Thursday night men's Stag, my home group. Yeah. Well, I was getting to that. Thanks for stealing my thunder, Patrick. But I've struggled with this program. I've struggled with sobriety, and it's taken me a long time to really figure this out. And I've got a sponsor today, and I'm up to date with him, Kevin C. I've known him for 35 years. I've been around the rooms since 1987, and my sobriety date is 12/31/2004. But I know today, and I've had to experience the program to a way that I know that this disease is a killer. I know that it wants to kill me. I know my ego and my pride is trying to kill me at all times. So I was around here, and I think Chuck is really the only person here. No, Pavi was, I think, around, but and I went out after 13 years, and I thought, because I wasn't doing the program, and my home group on Thursday night, they nicknamed me Half Measures because I was showing up to like 2 meetings a month, and that was it. And and to most people in the program, if they got that nickname, I'd be resentful, but two, it's like you'd think it's like there's probably something behind it. It's like maybe you should work a little harder at going to more meetings or go to 90 and 90. And there's nothing wrong with that, and I talk to guys with long sobriety, and they're not going to meetings at all. I say, hey, there's nothing wrong with doing 90 and 90 again, getting back into the groove, getting back into the rhythm and in the fellowship. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, right? It's like that's really what we want to do. Like I said, my pride and my ego is telling me, oh no. And I had a guy tell me with 30 years of sobriety say, I'm never doing another 4-step, because I don't know what happened when he did his, but he's just like, we don't have absolutes here. We got to be willing to, and we got to be able to take direction. And I had to learn that the hard way. But today, and I'm like a couple of the guys in the room, the first 164 pages out of the big book, I've got to know those, and I got to live them, and I got to work them. And my first, I lucked out, and I was able to ride 13 years without completely coming unglued. And like it says in our readings, just like we read tonight, out of portion of how it works, it's like it's a progressive illness. And once I started again, man, it was on. It wasn't like it was just going to be drinking like a gentleman. I'm going to but in my head I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be cool. I'm going to go down to the bars in Old Town, and I'm going to hang out. And I was 50 years old then, and then I'm thinking, and I'm going to and I'm married and I've got 2 kids, but this is the disease. All my integrity is gone. All of my character is, good character is gone. My honesty, the responsibility, it's completely gone. But here I am, I'm thinking about going to raves with, teenagers and stuff. And I'm thinking it's going to be cool, and I got to, and it's just, that's completely insane, and, but nothing like that ever happened. It's like, what really happens is, I'm locking myself up in a crappy motel room, and I'm drinking and, watching porn and, and thinking, I'm thinking I'm living, this is great. But in reality, I was in a living hell. for 4 years. I was in an absolute living hell. And you know what? And it's only through the grace of AA, the power of AA, the power of these steps that has saved my life. I was talking to a guy before the meeting, and I know it's like my ego would say, "Oh, you can't go to that meeting. They're going to close the door. They don't have a chair for you, Jonathan. You've really fucked up this time." It's like they don't want you back there. You're such a loser. And okay, so I come back in, right? Let's say then I'm thinking you all are pointing at me, going, "Oh man, you've really blown it, dude." And I have, right? That's we just like push everything out of the way so we can drink and use once we start. And so I don't wish this on anybody. I don't wish anybody to do that. So in reality, I had to surrender to a whole new level. Before it seemed like the obsession was lifted easily. It seemed like the allergy of the body, I was able to sort of overcome it, or get on the other side of it and do the steps kind of, half-assed the first time around, and, do my 4th step and my 5th step. And once again, I'm picking a sponsor who I think is cool. I really don't, it took me a long time to learn sort of the rules here. It's like, and most of the guys that I work with, I kind of, we do not necessarily do an interview process. I say, hey, why don't you write down why you want me to be your sponsor? And then ultimately it gets down to, hey, you got to be able to tell me anything and everything if you want me to be your sponsor. I'm not your uncle. I'm not your priest, and I'm not your banker. And I'm not, it's whatever said between you and I is between you and I. It's not going anywhere. And that's the beauty of this program. It's like, I don't, that's the beauty of the anonymity. We don't all have to wear paper bags in here, and, because I'm afraid someone's going to, see who I am. And we get on the other side of that too. It's like, hey, I want people to know that I'm sober. I want to be able to pass the message. It's not, I don't feel like I'm a defect or, by coming in here, or a complete loser when I first got here. But I will tell you that sticking around here and by doing these steps, and you guys in particular have taught me and showed me through example and through how to live day in and day out, how to be a man, how to be able to look at someone in the eye and be honest with them, how to be a loving husband and a father, and to be a son, and be present for my dying parents and bury them. We learn how to do all that stuff here. I learned how to be a brother and an uncle, and those are it kind of baffled me. I just sort of like stumbled through life. It's like I was like the worst employee ever, because I was so entitled. Oh, you guys are just lucky that I'm here. Yeah, and, oh, the car that you're giving me, oh, this is a piece of shit. I want a better car. Like this, entitlement. And that's the disease, right? It's just like everything's just out of skew. And it's taken me a long time to get the right perception. But, like I was saying, you guys have shown me. This guy over here, is like reading the grapevine before the meeting. He's getting warmed. That's like, you guys are getting sober here. You guys are doing it. And that's like, like I was saying earlier, it's like, we got to stay here, stay close. Don't spin out. Because, we know the stories here, guys. We leave here and we don't come back, or we get in an accident. We go out on a foothill here, we get in a bad accident, and we're paralyzed from the neck down. This stuff happens every day. It's just, through the grace of our higher power that we're even here today. And I know that for a fact. So when I got sober again in 2004 and got a few years together, it was a struggle for me. It really was. I had to draw the line in the sand and admit to myself and to everybody around me, it's like, I'm going to do this. No matter what. Either I'm going to die trying to get sober, or I'm going to get sober. And that's the way it felt. I struggled, for the first, year. And luckily, my sponsor, he put me on his back, and he carried me. But like a good alcoholic, we torch everything. Like my relationship, my family, and that guilt, that shame, that despair, the dysfunction. It's so heavy on our hearts, the self-loathing. What do? It's like, we know how to fix it. Just go to the liquor store and get a 40, maybe get a fatty, and or I'll pull a chuck, and I'll get a and at 50 years old, I'm going to go buy a ½ ounce of cocaine, thinking it'll be cool, right? It's like, none of that. But so, the insanity is so present. We hear it and see it every day in the rooms, right? We see, it's like going, oh my gosh, I am so grateful that's not me. I'm so grateful that I've been spared. So what happens? It's like, I had a sponsor that was able to see what was going on with me, and I was able to be honest with him, and really work closely with him, and he knew that my head was killing me. I had done so much damage with the family, and the family, it's like the wife, the kids are caught in the crossfire. But my side of the family, my in-laws side of the family, they're all terrified because we terrorize everybody. They're just waiting for the phone call. It's like it's the highway patrol, or it's someone in the program saying, "Hey, Jonathan's dead, and he ran over 3 people in Old Town," or that's kind of stupid shit we do, and that's what I've been spared, and when I look at that and I go, why me, right? I look at my higher, it's like my higher power spared me for a reason. He's spared me to be a service to AA. And that's what we get to do. It's like, get off the bench, get into the game, and and be a service in the program in any way you can. Whether it's greeting, to making the coffee, Jeff, good coffee, and and it rubs off. It's like, I don't know, it's like, here's Louie, Goofy Louie, at Thursday night, now he's leading the meeting here. He's like leading the meeting, and he's recruited a bunch of guys from Thursday night over here. And he talked me into coming over here. It's like, I don't know if I want to do that, but I am grateful to be able to get up and lead the meeting tonight, right? And, and everywhere I've gone, to any meeting, whether I'm on the west side, or I'm down in Long Beach, or if I'm up in Mammoth, or wherever we're at, right? I feel at home. Everyone, and on top of that, you guys are all super cool. I got to see Aiden, share on Monday night. He came over to our little meeting in Altadena, and he did a great job and a great share. And you guys get to know a little bit more about me with my share. I get to hear a little bit more about you. Fucking Greg is coming to our meeting, and he's a rock star there. Haven't seen you. We miss you, Greg. Get your ass over to our meeting on Thursday. And Eric, it's so good to see you. I'm glad you're here. I think I've got about another 30 minutes. All right? What are you talking about? It's, I know a lot of you guys here. Mike in the back there who read our prayer. He knew me when I first came back in, and we were able to connect a lot of times over in the Monrovia area. And the guys in the back row, I see Patrick and Bob over at Monks and Drunks. Every now and then I get to see a couple of the other guys here over there as well. But I will give you guys all an open invitation to join us on Thursday night over at the Men's Stag in San Marino. It's great to see Matt here and just the whole crew. And you guys have been so generous and kind to have us come in here. And I know that's it's a reason. That's what we do. What's our primary purpose? To help the other alcoholic to achieve sobriety. And that's something I take to heart today. What's my primary purpose? Yeah, I get to have a job and have a career, and I'm sort of okay at it, but I'm trying to get better at it every day. But more importantly, you guys have taught me how to be a good AA'er, how to suit up and show up, how to make coffee, clean up after myself, and that's you guys have given me tools for living today, and it all starts with being honest, and then we move into the rest of the steps and the principles. But that principle for step 4, since we're in April, it takes courage to do this. And and that's what I would say to the new guys here. It takes courage to get over the line. And Chad, appreciate you coming up here and reading and taking 30 days. That's huge. It really is. And I think back today, I just go, man, it's like, how does anybody get 30 days? But we do it one day at a time, right? And we do it with the help of our higher power. He quiets our mind a little bit, and he gives it a little bit of direction, and he gives us enough strength and courage to do the next indicated thing, even if it's just one step at a time. It's so great to see you guys, and thanks for letting me share.